All right, and welcome back to episode 025 of the OK Podcast, powered by the Strength Co. Today's date is June 18th in the year of our Lord 2024.
Don't look at that.
The price of Bitcoin is $65,123, but I'm not worried because the 2024 NBA champs are the Boston Celtics. I'm sure we'll talk about that later. We'll get you the block height because we never want to forget about Zach Copley. We are recording to you live now, recorded later. That's why it's a recording from the great upstate of South Carolina.
Upstate.
That's what I wanted to talk about.
Upstate.
That's what I want to talk about. I was fortunate enough last week to be on an episode 428.
Dude.
Yeah, think about that for a second. 428 podcasts.
For Massonomics. Is it weekly?
Yeah, it's weekly since the end of time. And they were like, I don't remember a week when this doesn't exist. But for people that don't know who Massonomics is, podcast up in western northeast South Dakota and some other parts because somebody moved. But they're on episode 428. I was the guest. We talked about a lot of stuff, talked about business-related things, talked about social media-related things. We talked about South Dakota-related things. But one thing that they really thought was interesting was that whole western northeast South Dakota thing's like a shtick.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, it's funny. I've never said upstate South Carolina to be funny.
Oh, well, theirs is a joke. This is a reference to a location.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
And so they asked me about it and they were like, we've never heard anyone say that. And I was like, oh, I didn't even think of that. So if you're unfamiliar, well, actually, let me ask you. So you're from Greenville, North Carolina. I mean, I say from loosely, but you lived there.
Half from.
What did you call that location?
Eastern North Carolina.
Eastern North Carolina. Okay.
Yeah.
So you just went compass.
There's Eastern, there's like Central Piedmont region, and there's Western, like the mountains.
Okay. So there's Piedmont.
Yeah. All like the Raleigh area, like all in the middle of it. North Carolina is a weird state because it's long. It's long. So you cover like a ton of geographical features. That's like why it's kind of an interesting state to live
Piedmont? Because then I'm going to compare it to South Carolina, which I think is way different.
Oh, I'm going to get the definition way wrong, but it's just a lot flatter.
Okay.
It's just more like flat
the word
forest.
Piedmont means that, or is there like a...
I should look it up actually. Okay. Little goog.
Because I didn't think about it really until after that podcast of how we say things here in the South, and maybe it's out of ignorance.
The Piedmont region is the middle region of the state. Listen like that. I paid attention.
But what's the word Piedmont mean?
Yeah, so
it means middle region of the state.
It comes from the Italian Pied, foot, and Mont hill.
Oh, I should know this.
Yeah, you're Italian, dude.
Yeah.
So it's the foothills.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so in South Carolina, I am from the Low Country.
The Low Country.
Which I never thought was interesting. I mean, I always thought it was interesting, but I didn't think of like the words. The only thing I thought was interesting about the word the Low Country was that it's not a real word.
Yeah.
And we have like a Low Country technical college. So it's like a college you go to that uses a word that's not a word in its own name.
I like that.
We thought that kind of stuff is funny. But so in South Carolina, you have the Low Country, which would be like your Beaufort, Charleston, as you head up north a little bit towards like St. George. And then you have the PD.
Oh, PD.
PD.
Okay.
P-E-D-E. P-E-E-D-E-E. Like if D went P, the PD region.
I'm always going to remember that.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I see it. It's like in the upper right corner. And then you have the Midlands, which is like, so PD's like Florence, Timminsville, that kind of area. Then you have the Midlands, which is like Columbia. Yep.
And the greater. And then you have the upstate. And so actually, growing up as a Gamecock fan, upstate was kind of like, to be real clear, the new coach of the Gamecocks for the baseball team came in and he went to like throw a dig against Clemson.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll tell you one thing, the Midlands is a lot better than the upstate.
Okay.
Which we're making the upstate great again over here. So that's why we record from here. That's a long explanation.
That was a deep dive into upstate.
That we're recording from here. But I never thought of Low Country, like literally marsh, swamp land, upstate, literally bottom of the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Like it's on a slant.
PD, Midlands in the middle. I don't know.
By the way, we called it Eastern North Carolina, but the geographical term is the coastal plain. Coastal plains.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were referring to the type of barbecue sauce.
Exactly. That's all I do. That's how I refer to the country.
Yeah. which is a fun map to look at. I like both of the Carolinas combined, and I like barbecue sauce from both of them
because it crosses the border.
Yeah,
which
makes
fuzzy.
It interesting. Yeah, it gets weird. But anyway, so there you have it. We're from the upstate of South Carolina. Block height is 848-551. Justin Timberlake's in jail. He's probably out now.
I think he's out now. Yeah, something about like late last night or early this morning, arrested, I think in the Hamptons or in New York or something like that.
Hey, if you're going to get arrested.
Yeah, and he's like,
nice place to do it.
Arrested DWI. So going from L-sit pull-ups with a medicine ball to DWI is just partying.
Drugs though, right?
Some kind of drug. I think it was party drugs.
So he wasn't driving under the influence. He was driving with the influence.
Or while intoxicated, I think they called it.
I thought it was the whole Jesus take the wheel deal. He was influenced. Yeah, I guess not.
Driving with the spirit.
Yeah. Let's see. What's new?
Our YouTube is blowing up.
Yeah, YouTube. Yeah, I'm blanking.
I checked
the plate video.
Yeah, so I remember every now and then I'll just go into YouTube Analytics and Studio and just like hang around.
I don't do that every day, 3 times a day.
No, of course not. And I'm like, why have our total channel views gone up like a hockey stick in the last few days? And I'm like, okay, well, there's something. So I'm looking through the top videos, and that one short that we kind of remixed with Ripito talking about your plates,
where I was called a grifter.
The grifter reel. Yeah, the grifter reel. And I think it's 500 and something 568,000 views and climbing.
Yeah. What was interesting about it is you make a little reel like that. Sometimes you help me edit them. Sometimes I do it, to a dumb soundtrack, and you post them and you think like, this is nothing compared to me sitting at the desk making a 15-minute instructional and helpful. And then I looked at that stats. How many subscribers do you think we got from that? Or you may have seen it, but I
can't remember. I bet it was.
What do you think it was?
I bet it was 150.
741.
That is
when I checked.
Wild
subscribers.
Wild.
Yeah. So keep the shorts coming, guys.
Apparently,
which the guys that make the shorts are these two guys, but
no, we need people talking about his plates coming.
Yeah,
that's what we need.
Then we'll grift you. And sorry, the cat's trying to unplug things and bite into cords.
Makes it fun.
But yeah, that video did well. And then
some other shorts are blowing up. So the mile time and the tips for your overhead press.
Yep.
They we're going. It's like you look at the view chart and it I
love hockey sticks.
It spikes up, and then most of them spike up and then they flatten out and they kind of die. And then these ones though, every now and then you get one that spikes up, flattens out, and then randomly it just looks like Bitcoin, just goes to the moon.
That's right.
Except it doesn't come down.
It's not random.
No, it's not. It's well thought out.
Yeah, everything goes exactly to plan.
Part of the plan.
Yeah. So tomorrow we'll do a video on did a little training vlog with Placido Santos, my cousin. We got to get him on here. I didn't talk to him about that, but now that I'm saying his name while I'm on the podcast, I am thinking about that. We got to get Placido on here.
The star of How to Get Jacked.
Yeah, star of How to Get Jacked. Works for BJJ Fanatics. Professor John Danaher. I like to call him Danaher. It's Danaher.
Famous guy, by the way.
Yeah.
Huge guy.
Placido or John?
Yes.
The professor.
Professor.
Both actually.
Actually, both.
By proxy.
But John is like a legend. And when you said that he was, I've heard of him. I'm not even like in the fight world, so to speak, but I'm just like tangential to it. And I'm like, oh, everyone's heard of that guy.
Yeah. People love him. And so I'm sure we'll talk about when the guys get on. My wife and I were in Boston visiting some family. What are you going to do? Not train because you're traveling? No. So we went into lift, and I will say before we leave the YouTube stuff, then we talk about the lifting, but Arthur owns Starting Strength Boston. If you want to do the basic barbell lifts and you're in the greater Boston area, I will tell you, as someone that's been to Boston quite a few times, there's a lot of family from up there. Like saying Boston is a loose term. Newton's a lot different than Somerville, than Acton, than Hanover, than Worcester. Obviously Worcester's way out, but there's a lot of suburbs. So they're in like Newton, Watertown area. Great gym in a basement. Awesome. I've been to maybe 7 or 8 starting strength gyms. This one's my favorite. I am partial to the fact that when I go, I can eat lunch with my uncle afterwards, but it's big. I think they have 9 racks in there.
Whoa.
They have a lot of room for, like changing and putting your stuff in. Even like those gyms are, kind of modeled off the footprint of the strength code. Like when we have 15 people in our gym and everyone brought a bag and they're there to lift for the day. Like you remember filming in there.
Yeah.
It's like, how can I film this shot? There's like, 6 gym bags
like
over
hanging
there.
in between a rack upside down
tight.
trying to get
it's
the shot.
Tight, but that's California real estate for you.
Hey.
But they got a lot of space in there, which is a nice gym. Anyway, I still have to say, every time I come to Boston, if I don't go to the gym, Arthur's like, you didn't come by the gym. So I always try and go by the gym, sometimes teach a camp, seminar, or whatever, or just lift. So I went to lift. And I'm like, well, I need to film a video.
Yeah.
And I'm here with Placido. And but I go in and they have a class going on.
Okay.
And so, like I have no problem being a clown anywhere. But as a gym owner or a business owner, like I don't want to cramp the business. I don't want to come in and be like, I'm taking over your business to film my video.
Because you've been on the other side.
Right. So I'm trying to be, respectful. At the same time, I walk in and someone goes, wow, Grant, you're a real person? And the guy's like 70.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. And then a couple people had watched some of, our stuff before.
Famous.
And so we waited. That's not why I say it. What I mean is,
can I have your autograph?
Even though there's people there that like watch the channel, I still don't want to like blow up the guy's business. So I kind of wait till everyone's gone and then we lift, and Placido held nothing back. But so there's not like a real fancy intro to that video.
That's right. It's real. It's raw.
It's just like a real, it's not even like hyped up. It's just like lifting, talking.
Just real.
We set the camera down for too long. Pick it back up. Keep talking.
That's fine.
So if you're into that sort of thing, that aired now that you're listening to this 2 days ago. And Placido did drop some good, interesting BJJ lifting, how he manages that. Some lifts that like I don't perform, like T-bar rows, that he has reasons for, why he does that versus a barbell row due to like how Brazilian jiu-jitsu affects stuff. So it was some interesting stuff. We had a good time.
Was it based on like fatigue of the lower back?
Yep, exactly. People hanging off your neck at all times. And so wants to still train the upper back, but doesn't want to, crush his lower back kind of deal. And so, so if you like jiu-jitsu and you like those sort of things, go check out that video if you haven't already. I
did jiu-jitsu for about 2 years.
Yeah,
that's all my only experience with it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was fun. Is he a black belt?
I should know. I'm so removed from that scene, and he asked me in the car ride, and this is when, usually like if you come somewhere, I'm like, I don't need you, Jordy, to like film stuff.
Yeah.
But then we're in the car ride and he's asking about the Marine Corps martial arts program.
Yeah.
And we're going back and forth and this. And he's like, well, why aren't you like a black belt in that and only a green belt? And I'm like, well, a green belt's all that's required for combat arms.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you got to think about it. Like my job as an artillery officer is to make a proficient artillery battery able to go in quickly and place howitzers, shoot as long as is required, and then pack it up and get the heck out of there quickly.
Yeah. If I'm
ground fighting, we got a problem.
Yeah.
And so like I need the minimum requirements, when a green belt's like the third belt. Because why? Because every Marine's a rifleman. That's the ethos.
Yeah.
You could be on a boat and they could say, hey, this battery's going to now go be provisional infantry.
Okay.
But you're not. Everyone doesn't need to be a black belt.
You can't optimize for everything.
Right. And so anyway, back to the content view of the world just revolves around content. Real life doesn't matter.
No.
But back to that, I was like, oh, Placido and I just had like a really interesting conversation.
It's nice if it was.
And I was like, that would have been some good stuff, but we'll get it next time.
I will say, I don't know if people know this, if they're not in the jiu-jitsu world, not that I really am, but I was a little bit in it. A black belt in jiu-jitsu, or black belt in jiu-jitsu, I think means more than a black belt in other martial arts. So a black belt in a lot of other martial arts, it's like, yeah, you train consistently for 2 to 3 years. Usually you can get to that level.
Yeah.
It's all good. Jiu-jitsu is unique because it's got, was it 4 or 5? It's white, blue, purple, brown, black. I'm pretty sure. So 5. Getting your black belt is like a decade plus endeavor. And it's not like, hey, check off these boxes and then you will be promoted.
Right.
It's like another black belt has to watch you over time.
So that's the part that I actually think is interesting.
Yeah.
Is that so even if you are a black belt,
yes,
then it's like what family made you a black belt?
Gracie black belt?
Yeah, it's like mafioso.
Yeah. And there's incentive to not give you a black belt. It's like the starting strength coach requirement. Like you want to make that continue to mean
make
something.
It really hard.
Yeah. So you don't want to just like give out black belts. It's got to be like, man, this guy, we can't not give this guy a black belt.
So based on what you're saying, if you're a starting strength coach, you're basically a black belt.
You are a black belt in the school of Ripito.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Black belt coach. Yeah, but Placido PR'd his bench 302.5. I actually PR'd mine too. I hit 380, which I wasn't planning to do, but I wanted him to bench 302.5. I've been trialing him. He's been running like a conjugate method. I'm like, you need to hit more singles. He wants to get his bench up. He wants to do 315.
Of course.
He'd done 300.
Every man's dream.
Yeah, he'd done 300 like 3 weeks ago. And I said, don't do 315. Hit the baby PR.
Yeah.
And he said, no, I'm going to go for 315.
Nice.
And it was really close.
Nice.
And he missed it.
I appreciate the attitude.
I do too, but I felt bad. I didn't feel bad because I told him do 302.5.
It drains you though.
No, Grant. Yes, but he still then hit a really grindy 302.5 after.
Yeah.
Which I would have rather liked the reverse, which probably would not have worked.
Yeah.
Because if he missed, like he went from like, I think 275 to 315, missed it, and then hit 302.5.
That's tough.
If he did 302.5 in the middle, yeah, whatever. There's arguments at how it could be made. But yeah, it was a fun session. So go back and check that out. And always remember the baby PR is still a PR. And it's easy for that milestone to get in the way. I don't think anywhere between 380 or 390, I would have even been thinking about 405. But I'm not like, oh, I've done this for a while, but like, I just kind of know like 380 was a grind and I was happy to hit it. And I probably shouldn't have hit it. I mean, we'll see how it all plays out over the next few weeks, but it's easy to be like, oh, 300, that's basically 315, right?
It basically,
but what's that percentage?
5.
My percentage is smaller, 380 to 405, right?
It is, but also, isn't it true? Like 10 pounds going from 380 to 390 is a lot different than 10 pounds from 290 to 300.
Meaning, which one's harder?
Meaning, as you get stronger, it gets harder to add 10 pounds.
It gets harder to get stronger, but there's still like, this is where it just gets so fuzzy into how'd you sleep last night? What's Bitcoin doing? Because at the same time, the difference between 380 and 390 is a smaller strength increase.
So that would be from 380 to 405 is a 6.5%.
Okay.
Jump.
What is it from 300 to 315?
So 315 divided by 302.5 or 300.
300.
300.
That was PR, yeah.
5%. So you actually did a bigger.
I didn't do it. Well, I mean, that makes sense. It was 20. Yeah. Anyway, I guess we're just dealing numbers over here.
Yeah, 5% though. I was about right. But yeah, that's it. My point was like, hey, just add another 5 pounds. When you're at the end of your strength curve already, that 5 pounds might as well be infinity.
Right. Yeah. No, it gets a lot.
Yeah. Well, congrats on the PR though.
Yeah, thanks. That was good.
When was your last PR? Few and far between, I'm sure.
Yeah. So I don't remember exactly when I hit 377.5, which I'm so sure Coach Greg would be really upset about. Because
Coach Greg,
you should be remembering what underwear you were wearing. But I have.
Well, as a genetic freak, it doesn't matter to you.
Yeah, exactly. No, but like at the end of a program, I can always be like between 355 and 370.
Okay.
If you know what I mean. Like there's a window.
Yeah.
And so like I've done a lot of singles in there.
Okay.
And so there was one time where I was like, oh, I'm feeling good. And I hit 377.5. I know like 3 months ago, I did 375.
Yeah.
And it was a grind. And I was like, I'm not going to go for anything, whatever. So I don't actually remember exactly when 377.5
was. It a year ago, 2 years ago?
Since I moved to Greenville.
Okay. Within the last 2 years.
Within the last 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's
within the last 18 months.
That's a.
Yeah, it's a long time. And I was pumped about 2.5 pounds.
Dude, yeah, you got to take it.
That's what you got to understand about PRs. When they're there, enjoy them.
Yeah, that was like the press PR for me. I did the baby PR. I did 180.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I got gas in the tank. There's some gas left. I'm not on E yet.
Can't afford not to go.
So at that point, since I had already hit a PR, I should have maybe done like 182.5. but I'd already hit it. So I was like happy I got a PR. So I was like, dude, 185, you get the 25s on there. YOLO. Yeah. Hit it. But that was a gamble.
So you hit 182.5 and you missed 185. No, you got 185.
No, I got it.
Yeah.
So that was body weight press, and then actually slightly over now, but, or maybe it was slightly over, but I remember you scheduled me for like 175 or 177 and a half.
Yeah.
I hit that. I was like, that was easy. I'm gonna go for a little baby PR, 180. I hit that. And I was like, dude, I got gas in the tank.
Oh, you skipped 182.5.
Yeah. I was like, screw 82 and a half, dude.
Yeah, especially if you did 180 and once you hit the baby PR, that's always my philosophy on PRs.
Yeah.
Is if you're at a top single, maybe it's not even a test day, but you're close to your PR, like don't get greedy, add 2 pounds.
Just take it. And then if it flies, that's what I'm saying.
Go up.
Yeah. The next one is YOLO.
Yeah. You have to. Or if I was coaching you in a meet, I would say baby PR, within reason PR. And then YOLO, especially like on a lift like a deadlift, or a squat.
Just get real hyped up and see if just the spirit can take you.
Yeah, just the spirit. Going up to the spirit in the sky. Anyway, should we get these guys on here?
Yes, sir.
All right. Episode 0. I can't wait to use this thing. Episode 0. I wish the finger and the thumb actually let me go in there. If you're not watching us on YouTube in Utah, welcome to episode 025 of the.
Okay.
It's been so long. We forgot. Let's just retry it. So it goes Jeff, Trey, Jordy, and then Didons. So episode 025 of the.
Okay.
Podcast powered by the Strength Co. I'm your host, Grant Broggi, here in studio with PJ, joining us from sweet
home Alabama,
Utah.
Oh,
we have Major Jeff Buege coming back from a tour in Colorado.
We do.
And we got Tress Robert Gottlich III
coming back from the tanning booth. You got some sun.
Seriously.
Yeah, it stops right here.
I thought that's your shirt. Oh, I didn't know you were wearing a shirt.
Mine's a nice V.
I thought that was just the sun.
Also have a 6 sunglasses. You thought I was just doing this shirtless?
Yeah, man. I thought you were just going for it. Liver King style.
Next episode. Go and pop up that shirt. Go and pop that shirt.
Popping tops.
See the gains.
Hey, did you have that finger specialty you made just for this episode?
That's amazing. Yeah, I told the Celtics to make it into an OK hand symbol.
Okay.
Amazing. And okay, I didn't say that during the game. Okay, Ferdinand Celtics. Real quick before we leave Jeff and Trey shirtless, there's like some comments that happened about your shirt, Jeff, on our Instagram page.
Sure.
And I never get them. And then they're like, his camera's always zoomed in. I never know if he's wearing a shirt. Oh. And I guess one time we did it zoomed out. Yeah. So, okay. You got the Arnold Classic t-shirt on, but shirtless Jeff, that's what we always called him in the Corps.
So they called him in high school.
Go and pop that shirt off.
Yeah. Pop that top.
Go ahead. Pop that shirt off.
So it's June. What happened?
I'm still with this camera.
Oh, it's June 18th. I don't think we've recorded the week of in 2, maybe 3 weeks.
Not with the full crew, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute, but we're back
on the battle rhythm.
Yeah. The battle rhythm has been restored. We're back to a weekly Cub, 2100 on Tuesdays. I want to hear about Jeff's, combat tour, but I don't want to take his slideshow away because I've been running the slide deck. So, Jeff, the ball's in your court.
It's been rough.
I'm also not looking forward to talking about basketball.
I listened to that episode. It was great.
Thanks. Next man up.
I had one takeaway from it, but I'll get to that. We'll get to that later.
All right. Foreshadowing.
If we want to get, I guess we can jump into where I was. Caused my absence. I was out at annual training for reserves. And so we started in Fort Worth, and then we flew up to Colorado Springs, did some training on Fort Carson.
Is that in Afghanistan?
Yeah, it's right on the border.
Western Northeast.
Western Northeast Helmand Province.
Yeah, if you know your U.S. geography, Colorado butts up right against the eastern border of Afghanistan.
I always forget that. Yeah.
Pretty crazy. The world's a small place.
All right.
So we were there, I guess, probably like 10-ish days. The total in Colorado. Of course, our gear didn't show up on time. Contractors decided not to show up when they were contracted to show up, and then all of a sudden they were like, "We want more money than the contract that we signed for."
They held it hostage.
Like, what are these contracts for if you're not gonna what? So that was a pain, but eventually all our stuff got out there. We went out to the field. Super windy, a lot of rain. Not too hot, but it was just overall interesting weather. But the Army was super happy with us.
That's what really matters.
Yeah, the Army was just blown away. They were like, "You guys," like they were blown away with like the radios that the Marine Corps had. They're like, "Your technology is so advanced," and I was like, "Wait, you talking about the Marine Corps?
Did we get this from y'all?"
It's literally from Vietnam.
Okay. Yeah, but it was a good time. And then we came back to Fort Worth for like 2 days, and I did my change of command. So that was my last stint there with Headquarters Battery, 14th Marine Regiment.
Oh, man.
So
sad
it was
day.
a little bittersweet. Yeah, it was weird.
I would have saluted too. I don't know if I'm allowed to.
Yeah, you're not. But
This is the last time I'm going to be like serving directly with this group of folks, and it was a little sad.
Anytime
little
you
emotional.
move a unit, it's weird. It's weird, and you spend 3 years in a unit or in the reserves, it's less, but you spend a time with a unit and you just talk about how bad it sucks the whole time. Can't wait to leave these devil dogs.
And
then you leave, and you're like, man, I actually like that broken water fountain. Like I like the fact that the chow hall smells like a dish rag. Like, don't take, these are my people.
I remember, so when we were in California, we hung out. It was like all the Marines that we lived with, and it was like, I think Grant's cousin and like Olivia, Gordon.
Oh yeah.
And then when we left, we're like, it was basically, all right, see ya. And look, we may never see each other again.
Yeah.
And then like, I think it was like your cousin. I can't remember who said, they're like, but what are we going to keep in touch? Or we're like, well, maybe. I don't know.
Probably not.
Look at us now, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Like actually, Gordon, potential sponsor.
Ooh.
Yeah. Big listener of the podcast.
Yeah.
Gordon McLeod.
I miss that boy.
If I said
Good
Mutual
dude.
of Omaha, that's probably a job he had 10 years ago. But he does reply to the OK podcast stories, and I don't know that he listens to every episode, but he listens. But yeah, that's the weird thing about the Marine Corps. And what's weird is it's almost worse in the reserves because I don't know. Like when you're active duty and you move around, you're like, I'll probably bump into this guy this many years down the road. And the reserves are like, yep, probably never see you again. Cool. That was a good time.
Right.
But congrats on a successful command tour. Which I know it was. Yeah. Good job. Slow clap.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah. BW would be proud.
BW.
Great guy. Is he still our sponsor?
Still our sponsor. Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness.
Fantastic. Even better guy.
Yeah. Keeping the lights on.
Better.
Yeah.
Do you get artillery round back there? Move that head. Move that dome. Yeah.
Whoa, is that your gift?
Yeah. Well, I got a couple of those from some of the guys in the communications shop. Gave me those.
The irony. Oh.
Yeah. A couple like they're like 3D printed artillery shells.
That's actually really cool.
So they actually like screw apart. Like, I can grab it real quick.
I thought it was Legos from here.
It might be.
Yeah. Oh, Jeff, 2 hands. Be careful.
Thought that was a water bottle.
HEPD verified.
Comes
Oh, it's empty.
They put little like bottles of whiskey in there, and then they like bought me like another like bottle of like 18-year like Crown Royal, and I was like, I'm literally gonna have this for the rest of my life. I'm never
Could you get that? Could you get that on a plane?
I checked it and I just let it ride. I was like, let's just see what happens.
I have a funny story about that. But what I was going to say to make this podcast political is, Biggie, I thought you were going to say it usually comes with HE, but we gave it all to Ukraine, so mine's empty.
HEPD verified.
Zelensky's like, nice.
Yeah.
Wait, nice. Jordy, what was your dumb question?
Oh, can I ask a dumb question?
Yes.
So, as a not a JTAC, but
good job.
But
good job on announcing that. Yeah.
So I know that there's like firearm rounds, like out of a handgun, right?
Okay.
And then there's artillery. Where does the line? Where do you draw the line? When does it become not like a bullet and it's like artillery?
60 Mike.
I don't think it does.
That's a great question.
Like, is it small artillery or is it a big ass handgun? Or rifle?
It's all rifle.
You know?
It's all comes like rifled. When you're like shooting something that's like beyond your line of sight. I think at that point, like it's like an indirect fire. Like I can't see what I'm shooting at necessarily directly. I mean, I guess sometimes with mortars you can see what you're shooting at, but
I mean, you could see, you could see with the big cannon. But go ahead, Trey. You have.
Well, I'm pretty sure, like, but to like that point, like. I would have to check the manual, but I'm pretty sure you could shoot the like the 50 cal could technically be an indirect.
Yeah,
50 BMG or whatever.
50 cal and like a Mark 19. You can
indirect. It can be indirect
mode.
I would say that's not artillery, right? Or
in our line of work, we would probably. I mean, as artillerymen, we would say like mortars are not artillery. I feel like I would maybe say that, but like. It's the same kind of deal. You're over here. The enemy's down there. You can't see them. Someone else is telling you where the target is. You're shooting. Like, I don't know. I feel like 60 millimeter, you start like for general talk for like gun nerds. Hey, we're switching into artillery land. But like, as far as what the U.S. forces use that are the smallest used by an artillery unit would be the 105, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah, that's what I'm tracking.
Yeah, mortars run with the
I'm looking up mortars and 60 millimeter.
PJ essentially just asking about echelon of fires. You know,
if you can't carry it on your back.
Echelon of fires. I love those echelon of fires. Get on the target.
I don't know what that means, but I'm hyped up about it.
Let the big dogs eat. I love talking guns.
So that's like that's a completely different skill because now it's like communication between multiple people. Like there's a person. Yeah, I'm gonna say all the wrong words, but there's a person like figuring out where you're gonna shoot, and there's a person doing the shooting, and maybe there's more. I don't know, but okay,
no, that's correct. With indirect fire, there's a guy that gives you accurate target location, and then you gotta make sure you know where your stuff is, and then you have to figure out. How much is my round weigh? What's the weather effects going to have on it? And then like, am I computating all that stuff correctly and then shoot?
But don't snipers do that too?
Yep. Mm-hmm. But snipers can see their targets. So they're not,
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's actually, I think that's probably like the base definition because they're accounting for wind, rotation of the earth, because it's long shots.
Of the same stuff.
But they are looking at their target, whereas we are just given a target,
a coordinate,
and shooting on it, and then accounting for all those things.
Is there beef between snipers and artillerymen?
No.
Okay, I didn't know if it was like
big.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes people get funny about that stuff.
Oh, don't call it. See a target. They can like sometimes like don't they call it in?
Yeah,
like that's
trained like joint fires observers stuff.
Yeah, okay.
If there's beef between anyone, it's fake beef because if you've ever like seen a plane drop a bomb, you're like, oh yeah, that's air superiority. But if there was like fake beef. It would probably be between like aviation and artillery.
Why?
Because we would be like, well, if it's windy out or it's raining, they can't fly and we can still shoot. And that's why we're the king of battle.
Weather.
Yeah, we're all weather. Yeah, which is true.
Yeah,
not wrong.
It's not fake.
Not fake. Wrong. Okay, that's a good distinction. If you can see the target or not.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That's a good question, though.
Unless you do direct fire.
What is it? Actually,
unless you do Killer Junior.
Direct fire, Killer Junior.
That's where you take it. That's where you take out like full size howitzer and you like literally set it up.
Oh, it's like a rifle.
Yeah, you shoot like a rifle.
It's just a big rifle.
People love it. Everyone loves to come. Like when it's family day, you do a direct fire shoot because everyone's like, "Oh man, this is so cool,
man."
Because otherwise, like you shoot the round, super cool. But then it's like you just wait, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So you're either like up on some hill somewhere, and all of a sudden you see boom, boom.
Yeah.
Or you're on the other end where you saw it go out, but you
direct fire is
both.
Cool though, right?
Nah, indirect fire is the king of battle.
Actually, Jeff, you know this. What's the you're measuring distance? if you hear a round and then you hear the sound after it, like how far is it?
Gosh, it's like
is it every second's a click or something like that? Isn't that the general rule of thumb?
I think it's like every second's like 300 meters.
Yeah, I actually was gonna say every 3 seconds was a click.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's about the same. Yeah. So
what's a click?
Yeah. A kilometer.
1 kilometer.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you double click on your mouse pad,
2 kilometers. Very informative, folks.
Speed of sound is 343 meters a second at.
There you go.
Hey,
look at these red legs here. Just wrestling.
About a click a second.
So Biggie's like 1 click, 300 something meters, and I'm like homeschool math. 3 seconds, 1 click.
Yeah.
Hey, easy math. Keep it easy when you're out in the field.
The old Marine podcast, as they call it.
I love it.
You miss I bet it's cool to hear that sound of the artillery going off, because I remember I was in Miami and there was a Miami air show, right? And I know you guys have beef, but they're huge beef. But I was like,
Miami?
Oh, cool. No, with the air show, yeah.
Miami.
No, but me and some friends went down to the beach and we were like, oh cool. Like I was like, oh cool, I get to see some cool planes, like neat. And then like it starts and you just see like one like, fighter jet fly over. Like, oh, that's pretty cool. Then you see like 3 fly over. Then you get like 5 fly over, and then like the stealth bombers came through and everything too. And by the end of it, I just like felt American and like patriotic, and like you're just like it's different. I've seen all these things on Google Images or whatever, but like there's a difference when you feel that plane going over you.
Oh yeah. There's a reason they don't ask artillery to do flyovers for football games.
People are like, "What backs
it's not as exciting? Just drag a 7-ton around the football field."
People are like, what backs the value of the American dollar? And I'm like, I think it's that right there.
Isn't that what the Sooners do? They just drag a 7-ton around.
Have you seen the video where it falls over? That's my favorite.
I love that.
It's really funny.
But I've never heard artillery in person.
Ooh.
Well, quick story on that. Do you remember Jeff? Now Lieutenant Colonel Brian Pegram,
good guy.
Battalion commander in 10th Marines. Forget which battalion, but he was like a very dry humor. Like would tell really funny jokes, but like being expressionless. And he was talking about being an FDO, which an FDO is like you are inside a tent usually, or like in the back of a truck, and like all the information comes in from the people looking at the target. And you like with your team of like 5 Marines, you process it all. You as the FDO decide what you're going to shoot, and then you transmit the fire commands to the gun line, which are like 200 meters for you.
Is this like the JTAC?
No, completely different. Yeah, I mean, same thing. No, but like you're using it literally a computer system. Like a thing comes in, you plot it. You also are taught how to do it manually, but you plot it, you account for all these different things. And then you also are doing like what you call tactical fire direction. Like, oh, it's 3 tanks. I should shoot this many rounds.
Yeah.
And you send it down to the guns, and then you hear the gun line like, oh, charge 3, and they're loading the guns. Yeah. And so like once you send the mission, you can like step out of the tent, and then like watch the gun shoot.
Oh yeah.
And so like the amount of, we'll just call it gunpowder for normal speak, but it's like a Mike 1 charge. It's like a little green Lima charge. So like you put 1 in, let's just make it real simple. It's going to go 1,000 or it's going to go 1 kilometer. Mm-hmm. You put 2 in, it's going to go 2 kilometers. Put 3 in, it's going to go 3 kilometers. Obviously like height, all that stuff matters, but the more you put in, the bigger the boom.
Makes sense.
And so like a big one is called like 5 hotel, which means like you've put a bunch in.
Okay.
And I just remember Pegram being like, yep, nothing I like better than being an FDO, transmitting fire commands, hearing the gun line go, pouring a cup of coffee, walking out, and just watching all the Humvees windshields crack as we shoot 5 hotel. And I just remember like being an FDO, and I was shooting like 3 Lima. It wasn't anything that cool, but I remember like walking out and being like, this is pretty cool. It's pretty great.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, the artillery episode.
I do love artillery.
I learned a lot.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Just in case, I guess.
I don't know much about artillery, but what I know is when I call it, it lands.
The Godfather.
I was in a meeting with him. He said that. It was great.
It's amazing.
Yeah. All right.
Dang.
Next slide.
All right. Wow.
Next slide.
Yeah, we're done.
Enough about
now.
that. Trey, let's hear about this fishing trip. Tell us.
Mine. Are you talking about my annual training?
Yeah.
Your annual, Trey's annual training.
Don't say the name of the place.
Top secret.
It's undisclosed. You can get in post. Dude, it was good. So going up there, so like I think I explained it last time, it's like a full day of travel. Wake up early, fly to Minneapolis to go to International Falls. After that, take a cab up into Canada, and you take about another hour boat ride. So it's like by the time we get there, it's like super late at night. But dude, fishing was phenomenal this year. Weather was really good. I think we got rained on one day, super windy a couple days, but for the most part, super hot. We were predominantly doing smallmouth, which is the best
Is
fish,
the jaw in front
Yeah.
or behind of the eye?
in front, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I got taught that by somebody that was one of my Marines, Captain Carrier.
No,
And,
I just
we
look
were
at their
talk-
mouth and I
Yeah,
go,
we were
if it's
talking.
small,
No,
it's
we
small.
were talking trout fish, and he's like, if you ever feel stupid when someone's talking largemouth or smallmouth, say if it's a largemouth, the corner of the jaw is behind the eye.
Actually,
And then,
yeah, I didn't know that.
Now I've looked at a bunch of pictures. I'm like, well, that's obvious. Except if someone catches a small largemouth bass,
It's like artillery.
and then you can tell.
So if it's like a smiling smallmouth bass, then it's really hard to tell.
Don't worry, be happy.
That song came out. I don't know if a lot of people know this. That song came out when Grant was born.
1988,
it's true.
baby.
Ooh,
It's true.
Isn't that also when you were born?
correct.
Yeah.
Great
But-
year.
Dude, great fishing, man. We did a little bit of walleye fishing. You catch enough to have lunch. They would cook it up. Then you go smallmouth fishing kind of in the afternoon and the evening. And then hooked a muskie. I think we talked about that. About
we did.
3 foot,
Mhm.
kind of looks like a dinosaur. Hooked one of those because muskie season just opened. And I wasn't even fishing for it, just happened by accident. But
Whoa.
Dang, you're a good fisherman.
yeah, get on this line.
I've never caught a fish by accident.
But no, it's a weird way to fish. So you're in the boat for a smallmouth because they're up on these giant boulders on the shore, and you literally you drive the trolling motor and you go right over the boulder and just kind of hang out on it, and you just will drop a line down there and flip boulders, pitch to them, and then just pull out a smallmouth. Man, it's a wild way to fish, but ton of fun, man. I had a blast. We probably averaged between 50 and 70 fish every day. So
How many fishermen?
so 2 to a boat.
I
So each boat-
assume you didn't mean 50 each, or did you?
It's to a boat. So 2 of us in a boat. And so
Damn.
50 to 70 a day.
35 to 35.
usually.
That's
Okay.
good.
Wow.
Who was in
Those
your
are
Lot
good
boat?
action.
A lot of action.
Who was in your boat?
My brother-in-law.
Oh, so you were
He's-
catching about 60. He was catching about 10.
Yeah, I'm much better at
Yeah.
fishing.
Oh,
And it's what, so there's no boating course that you take up there. So it's just hey, hop in a boat and figure out how to drive a boat. And I'm
Love that.
not skilled. Dude, I'm not good at it at all.
Love that.
End of the week, man, you get real good. So you're just
Yeah.
you have this 60 horsepower motor on the back, and it's crazy waves, and you're just trying to get through it. Wild way to fish, but good time, man. We had a blast.
Love
Do
that.
you
Reminds me
eat
of
any- Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I
I
was
was
gonna
saying,
say-
it reminds me of when I rented a car in England and they just let
Yeah,
me
just
do
let
it.
you have it?
I was like,
Do I need
left
side of the road?
side of the car on the other side of the road, right? And they're like, yeah, that's fine. There's
Yeah.
a video I need to watch.
No,
you
just
got it.
just
You'll
figure it
figure it
out. Yeah. Now, I don't know how this works. Do you eat any of the fish? Or are you pushing those back or putting those back, or what's
So the
plan?
bass, man, you don't eat the bass. You just throw them back in after you catch them.
Conservationist.
It's not
Well, that's a good question.
It's a Jeff.
Yeah, I was
The
going to ask.
walleye you eat, but
Well-
once you hit your limit's 2 a day. So
Oh, I have a conservationalist question.
my kind of party.
So, would it be more or less conservationalist to eat what you kill or eat what you catch?
I guess it depends. So each year, the slot changes and the number can change based on
What?
there's scientists that will go out there. I think
If it's overpopulated, underpopulated.
Wait,
Yeah,
so
no.
like a Dr. Fauci.
Dr. Fauci will go out there. He's actually in charge.
Too many out
specifically
here.
goes out
Everyone
there.
wear a mask.
2 weeks to slow
Yeah, a
down.
lot of people wearing masks.
Great, maybe Ukraine, Joe. Dr.
my
Fauci
bad.
gets
You want a
spicy.
vaccine?
Yo.
Vax those fish.
But
Oh yeah,
it
were the fish
changes.
vaccinated? That's
Yeah, most of them were. They didn't get the booster though.
Okay.
Okay. Level 1 fish. I get
Yeah,
it.
level 1 fish.
So the number changes depending on like the population of that
Yeah,
season.
each year. So I remember like last year, like the length of walleye you catch was like 20 inches and under, and then this year it dropped down to 17.
Okay.
Just
So it's like
so-
deer hunting,
similar, yeah.
like where they're like, you get this many tags or whatever. Or you kill
Yeah,
this-
exactly.
Yeah.
And it
Unless you're in
changes.
South Carolina where they're like, can you kill 100 of these, please?
Well, that's what I'm saying. What is the more
Slaughter them.
conservationist thing to do? That's what does that mean, right?
Like it
'Cause
just
you-
depends, man. I don't know.
'Cause I
I guess on the
can see
animal.
not killing them, it would be good, and sometimes killing them and eating them would be good. I don't know.
I think it just
I-
depends. I think
population control really is. What's
so. Like
going on.
in Texas, like all
Yeah.
these lakes all the lakes in Texas are man-made. There's no natural lakes, and so do you not know that?
I knew that.
I feel like I told Grant
I'm pretty
that
sure
once.
That's why
I'm pretty
Texas
sure you
is
told
great
us
on
that.
paper until you find out all the water's fake.
Fake water.
It
It's
is
good
pretty
lakes.
great
They're all
out there.
man-made, so that's why they're
pumped
always
it in,
like
they pumped it
always
in from
looking
Lejeune.
Yeah.
There's a class action against all the lakes here in Texas.
Oh no. Because I would. I can ask that because I would feel bad like if when I go deer hunting, like I would feel bad killing a deer and then not eating it.
So
Yeah,
I
100%.
think you're confused that you can catch a fish
But
and
you
not kill
you
it.
cannot kill it though, so
Yeah.
that's why it's different,
Yeah.
right?
I usually shoot to wound deers only. And then just,
Shoot him in the knee. Just shoot him in the knee.
No, I agree. If you kill it, you got to eat it.
You should.
Yeah.
That was like my dad's rule growing up, and I think that's like true with animal. Like it was never, not anything but that. But like fishing is,
It's different. You don't kill
it's
it.
way different. I mean, sometimes I feel like I see how good someone's trout photo was. I'm like, man, you screwed that fish up because like the lighting on that, where you were standing, you're 6 feet off the bank, the way you're holding it, like that poor fish.
It's got
like,
makeup on.
That dude was out of
not
the
gonna
water
make it.
for a long time.
Not gonna make it.
But yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
what was your trophy fish from the trip? Maybe not the trophy of your life, but of the trip, you caught. It sounds like you maybe caught 150 fish.
yeah, I would say
There had to
probably
be.
around there.
You had to be one that you were like. Oh,
I got a 19, which wasn't. We were trying to get a 20-inch smallmouth because they don't measure in pounds; they measure in inches,
yeah,
which kind of throws me off.
like
but
Texas A&M.
They it was a 20. We were going for 20. I got two 19-inch smallmouths, and they were
Okay.
like really good fish. And then I got a
That's
24-inch walleye, which is really good. And then
Dang.
I'm trying to think. I caught a northern pike. I caught at least one northern pike every day, but none of them were that big. But
So,
I would say that the 19-inch smallmouths were probably
Okay.
That's what we were predominantly fishing for.
two things I want
it's
to go
big
back
fish.
to. I want to go back to the pike, but for the smallmouth, a 19-inch smallmouth, because the head and upper cavity is pretty large. That thing's like 6 inches tall, right? Because like a trout's 20 inches, but it's probably like 4 inches tall, unless it's a
Yeah.
stock dog.
Are you talking like belly to back? Like
Yeah, I
kinda-
just mean like that's a
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
tall
that's probably
fish.
that's
right?
probably accurate. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I would
Yeah.
say
So
so.
that's so like if you did you send us that photo?
It's a beefy fish.
I can't remember if I did or not.
Okay.
I think I did.
Yeah, but
I think I did.
I just mean 19 inches. Like in trout, 19-inch, huge fish, but like it's slender.
So, yeah.
Whereas
yeah.
like I feel like with the bass, they're pretty tall.
That and it kind of like so we caught one 19-inch. We weighed it and it was like 3.7 pounds, right? And then
Okay.
I caught another 19-inch and it was like 4.2. So
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
like
Okay.
it gets Okay.
It's like the difference between benching 370 and 405. It matters.
100%. Yeah. One was on the program and one was obviously not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
Um,
YOLO fish.
Before we leave the fishing story, you mentioned northern pike.
Yeah.
And so Tanner Massonomics talked about him a little bit in the pre-show. He really loves our bit on, and I tell him it's not a bit, it's just facts. In South Carolina and Texas, we just call these hats.
Yeah.
And the rest of the country calls them cowboy hats. And so he loves to say in South Dakota, this is just a hat. He likes to tell it to his wife a lot and make jokes. And so I get a text from him between last episode and this one. And it just says, hey, just so you know, when you come to South Dakota, we just call that a pike. And I like blanked for a minute. And then it was like kind of like I got it like 2 days later. I was like, oh, he's talking about how Trey said northern pikes. And I was like, got it. So it's just a pike, Trey.
Yeah,
get with it. Yeah,
whatever.
And states that start with south, it's just a pike.
Yeah, dude, that's an angry fish, man.
Yeah, I bet. How big was that one?
Dude, it was that was like a foot and a half. Like it wasn't. They get big. Like they get like 36 inches.
Dang. Big old
36 inches. Yeah, they get real big. I caught a bigger one last year, but I don't know, man. Like they feel like it's like do you owe this fish money? Like that's how angry they come out and just like smack it. They're fun to catch too. But
love a fun fish.
It was a good fishing trip for sure.
What were you catching them on mostly? Was there like a go-to like lure or anything?
So we'd flip back in. So we have just like a tube that we use, or like a Ned rig, which is kind of like weights at the end with the hook that comes out, and then like you just kind of put like a worm, like a small tube looking worm at the end.
Old fashioned.
No.
Oh, okay. Fair.
No. All artificial. That or usually like a chatterbait was really good, which is just like a blade bait that you kind of just bring through the water.
Did you use any chopped up hot dog? Do you ever use those for bait?
It's my favorite.
Use minnows for walleye. Yeah, but the hot dog would work pretty good. Yeah.
You catch Joey Chestnut.
Gets me every time.
He's like, oh.
Especially if it's covered in water.
Dunk it in there.
All right.
Delicious.
Next slide.
All right. Well, I think in our little Slack thing, the next recap, I think, is you over to you, Big Grant, talking about your Boston trip.
Boston.
That's very eventful.
It was. Went to Boston. That's what D wanted. So like July. I mean, I didn't want it at all, but no, it was a joint effort.
You fought tooth and nail.
Lots of fights. But July we have a lot of like kind of work travel, and so we were like, hey, let's do like one more trip, just you and I, before the baby's done here. And she was like, let's go. Yeah, done. Same thing till you're done cooking it up. And so we're going to go to Boston. So she wanted to go to Red Sox game. That's actually what she wanted to do.
You call it a baby moon? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, baby moon. Yeah. I'm big on those things right after gender reveals. And so anyway, we were looking at what made sense. And I will tell you, I was looking at the time the Bruins were in the playoffs and the Celtics were. And I was like, well, we can pick a Red Sox game. And then if like there's a playoff game still happening, we'll be around. And so we went to Yankees Red Sox on Saturday.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, great game. Yankees beat the Red Sox game 1 on Friday, 8-1. So I went in and I was like, man, this is going to be bad. Red Sox won 8-4, which was fun.
Nice.
Good game. We had a little scoreboard presentation that we're expecting a baby, which like we think will be cool for the future. So like, that popped up on there. Really fun. Fenway Franks.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Fenway Franks are so good. Like they're just like so good. And the whole experience is amazing. Yeah. And
where'd you sit?
We sat first base up maybe, I don't know, 50 rows or something, you know? So it was like loads 117. Well, the funny thing about Fenway, no, not the owner's box. I wish. The funny thing about Fenway is that it's like, this is a baseball game. Like, why are the ticket prices so much? Like the Red Sox are 34-34, you know, and these prices feel like playoff prices. But we had decent seats. Like I didn't go all out, but we had good seats. And it was funny because we've probably been to 4 or 5 games there together. And we both like had a good chuckle that like, we know the hot dog guys now. They don't know us, like means. But we're like, that's number 38. He's like, hey, how many Franks you want? And like, we were like, it's like kind of fun. So that game was good. And then Sunday we just hung out, walked like the entire city. We were staying in the back bay. So we walked all up like Commonwealth, went to Boston Common. It did a lot of sitting, a lot of slow walking, 6-month pregnant wife.
Yeah.
Went up to like the the harbor there, hung out, came back to like where Green Dragon Tavern is, and
they call it
Bell's
Haba.
Hand.
I was gonna say, what was that?
We did all that, and then we went to the North End at night. Had some good Italian. Went to Mike's Pastries and just kind of like chilled Sunday. But it was fun because then when you come back to the hotel, like everyone's watching Red Sox Yankees again. Red Sox win again, which was great. And then Monday we had like all day family day. I met my cousin and a couple of his kids at the gym. We worked out, and then I was meeting with like two uncles, two aunts, various other cousins. We all met up, and they're like, "Are you going to the game? Are you going to the game?" And I won't completely out myself, but I wanted to go to the game, but ticket prices were like astronomical. And in my mind, I'm like, well, it's like a once in a lifetime opportunity. Like once you have a 1-year-old, you can't just like run off to Boston and go to a finals game. You should go. And I'm like, I can't justify this. And so the old Grant in me, like, hey, I'm going to go to Columbia. I have no tickets, but if I can get a ticket under $100, don't get me wrong, I paid way more than $100 for the Celtics. But if I can get it under, I'll go into the game. Otherwise, I'll just hang out around Williams-Brice. So that was the plan. And so, man, we finished with all my family. We came back, and all day long, ticket prices have been dropping $100, another $100, another $100, because they were all over $1,000. So it was at the point where I was like thinking about it. I'm like, well, if I'm a guy that owns 2 of these tickets and I don't care, and I know they're worth $1,000, like I'm kind of starting to freak out, because if I don't unload them, like I lost out on $2,000. And so like, maybe I'll take $1,600 for 2, maybe I'll take 15, and so they just kept dropping as we got closer, to the point where I was like, Diana, get ready. We're going to go down to TD Garden. And they finally dropped down to like something that I had in my head. Like, if it hits this, I'm doing it. And so they were both like a pretty good bit under $1,000. And I was like, all right, we're doing it. And so we got the tickets like literally like 15 minutes before we got on the team.
Oh, no way.
And then at that moment, I was like, like,
game on.
Let's just go.
So worth it.
Well, the moment we got off the tee and like you're at the entrance to the garden, it was insane. Like it was just a sea of people. The music's playing. Everyone's chanting all this stuff. And what I actually thought was like, I should have just bought the tickets 3 days ago when they were 3x what I paid for them, because this is fantastic.
Worth it. Yeah.
Yeah. We went in, and like the great thing about the garden is we were like high up, like really high up, but all the seats there are actually pretty good. Like you can actually like see really well. The game was rocking. I think it's probably the loudest early on when KP came out, just because he had been hurt, the last like 3 games. And when Baringas came out, like the place went nuts. But then I think the loudest, I won't say the loudest I've ever heard in a stadium, because 20,000 people compared to 100,000 people is a big difference, but it is all contained. But I don't know if you guys watched the game, but when Pritchard hit that halftime 3 from half court, I thought my eardrums were going to pop. Like it was just like absolute insanity. And the best thing about sitting up like that is a lot of the people there, it was like they literally spent their life savings to be there. Like the guy in front of me was wearing a green jersey. He's like, my dad gave me this to me when I was 7 years old. He's probably like 25. And he told me, if you ever get a chance to watch the Celtics win a title, you go. He's like, I grew up in Somerville. I live in Florida now. I flew up last night. And he was crying at the end of the game. It was just like absolute insane. And so then we leave the game. So they win. Great game. We stay for like all the stuff. When they gave Al the trophy, it was like the place exploded more than when they gave it to Tatum and Brown. And then we leave, and the city was just bananas. And I went into like 6-month pregnant wife. I just have to get her back to the hotel mode. Yeah. So I didn't even like I took it in, but it was like people hanging off of street posts, like climbing the garden walls, literally. Like it was absolute insane. Like you get on the tee and they're just still screaming, F you, Kyrie. Like, the whole way, all the way down to Prudential, they're just like screaming on the train. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I got to say, I have no regrets. It was well worthwhile game to go to. I was very tired though because by the time we watched all the post game, then you go through the sea maze of people, then you get on the tee, I don't know, 45 minutes on that thing. You get off. I think I went to bed at like 1:30 and have an old client that like was actually in Back Bay. And I was like, hey, we'll meet you for coffee in the morning. We went and met her and it was great. But so I got up at like, I don't know, nothing crazy, like 7:30, 7:45. And I was like, I am exhausted. But it was worth it. Yeah. And all the Celtic stuff was like so still great. Walking around the city. And then in the airport, the best part was flying back into Philly because like all the airport shops switch from like Celtic stuff to Philly stuff. And the whole airport's just full with Celtic stuff. Yeah. And yeah, it was fun. They're like, you at the game last night? And I was like, hell yeah, brother. Yeah, it was great. Good game.
We need to read back the predictions.
Was that right?
So you were wrong. It wasn't in 4. I was wrong. It was in 7.
I was wrong.
Okay. So it was Gottlich in 5, right?
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Grant and I had the same.
Yeah. Gottlich in 5.
The sports master.
I should start betting, dude. I should start betting on stuff.
I mean, Portnoy did.
A lot of people say that.
Portnoy did a parlay on Schaefer and the Celtics, and he won $1.5 million. So you can't almost afford not to bet.
Dude,
That's
true.
You're losing money.
I know.
Dang.
What am I doing?
Yeah. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Just getting into sports betting.
Speaking of which, Jeff, can I take the next slide?
Absolutely.
So I want to have a little game for Jordy here. I like games for Jordy.
I love these because I never know that these are happening. Yeah. And it's just spontaneous.
Has anyone ever heard of Levain Bakery? No. It's cool if it's nose around the board. I'd never heard of it either. So my Boston relatives all raved about this place. It's from New York, which I thought was interesting. But they're famous for their cookies. And so they were like, you have to have this. So this morning when I met the old client of mine, we went to Levain and got cookies, and I bought an extra one for Jordy.
No way.
So cookie review time.
Yeah, well, I
couldn't really get it to you in time.
Did I mail it?
That's a coconut something or another.
Ooh.
So you got to describe it. We'll just give you.
Yeah, this isn't even a cookie. This is like something advanced here. This is like.
One of those advanced cookies.
There's a lot going on in this cookie. I don't know if I can hold it up without making a mess, but.
Take a bite. Describe what you're.
How would you describe?
It kind of looks like a muffin top.
Okay,
it's like a very heavy muffin top.
So I would describe it as a
Seinfeld.
Biscuit.
It's biscuity. Yeah, this is like a 1.25 strength co plate. Honestly,
does it have a little give to it, or is it pretty firm?
It's pretty firm.
It was made this morning, to be fair, and flown in from Boston, so it's a little bit old.
Okay.
All right.
I like what I see though. Golden
the most
brown.
expensive Uber Eats ever, dude.
Yeah. Well, the cookie itself's $5.25. So that
plus the plane ticket to haul it over.
Yeah. Cheaper than the Celtics ticket.
How much was this?
$5.25.
That was worth $5.25.
Wow, just one bite.
Yeah. Are you gonna rate it? Or?
I'm gonna give it an 8.9.
Wow, high rating.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's good. That was good. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Levain Bakery, New York, potential sponsor. Good cookie. I'm a thin cookie guy. You know, so it wasn't my like it was one of those things where you bite it and you understand exactly why everyone loves it.
No, I get it.
But for me, I was like, yeah, this is not my speed at all.
I've always said that about Grant. He's a thin cookie guy. Yeah,
thin cookie guy.
Speaking of Levain's potential sponsor,
we have an actual sponsor, right?
Yeah, I don't know what that noise is.
There we go.
Okay, yeah, but we do have an actual sponsor who are glad they keep the lights on, and every June 18th, on the eve of Juneteenth, I think, wow, we're getting close to being halfway done through the year, and it's time to start thinking about my taxes. And I think about BW tax, but why listen to me?
The thing that I've always liked about bwtaxllc.com is that they are a smaller company, and smaller companies care more. In general, there's not a hierarchy of people that are telling you, make more money from our clients. They want you to make money. That's why you use them, because when you use them, they're gonna give you the tools to get the most money back from the government that generally takes all of our stuff. But it's their mission It's their job to get as much money back from the government and put it into the pockets of hardworking Americans.
Daggum.
Favorite part at the end? Daggum.
You had that on everyone?
Yeah. We leave that on there.
Just leave the daggum on all of them? Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually B-Dub's catchphase. Is
Daggum.
Daggum.
BW.
You get your tax return back, you just go, daggum.
Actually,
First
it's
of
like,
all.
hey, BW, I forgot to tell you, I sold all my Bitcoin. Daggum.
Yeah.
Great
Jim Denofis is
guy.
underrated. That's a good ad read. His is good.
Jim's is great. Jim's is
Off the dome, too.
Yeah. I mean, he's right. The government's trying to take all your money, and that's why you should call BW Tax. BW and I were texting during the game. He was,
Great guy.
it was actually a funny deal. He was trying to out me with a fellow Citadel grad on a text thread, also from Hanover, Mass. And he said, I'm trying to get Grant. He said, how often do you and Grant talk? Not BW, the other guy. And BW says every day, and usually it surrounds tax advice as to why he shouldn't make a $5,000 purchase to go to a Celtics game, which I just replied and said, sounds like a tax write-off to me. And,
all you had to do was take your camera with you and film.
I did.
And film a few things.
I did.
Okay. Tax write-off.
Tax write-off.
Which makes things free. I don't know if you know how tax write-offs work.
Yeah.
Free.
Totally negates the cost.
I don't think anybody knows what that is exactly.
If you film enough,
write it
you
off.
actually get paid to do it. It's great.
That's true.
Yeah, it is true.
Just write it off.
Yeah.
It's not to nerd out. It's just a discount based on your tax rate. So if your tax rate is 25%, it's 25%.
Okay.
Hey, that
18
hand
banners.
is now a tax write-off.
This hand is now property of OK Podcast, purchased on the OK Podcast credit card. So,
Throw a sticker on that,
thanks,
baby.
guys.
Write it
If
off,
you want to
baby.
sign up for your own OK Podcast credit card, head on over to theokpodcast.com. Yeah.
Street Code should get into credit cards. Have you thought about that?
No interest
in that.
No interest for 6 months, and then after that, we're gonna get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, baby.
Yeah. All right. What slides we got left? I mean, no one
I
wants to
think
talk
if
about
we wanna
Angel Reese slapping Caitlin Clark in the face.
I was going to stick with a little Boston themed action here.
Let's stay
We
there.
wanted to talk about the Tom Brady Patriots Hall of Fame induction and its contrast to the roast of Tom Brady.
So
Put
you've
that
been
in
out of media for 2 weeks, right, Biggie?
for the most part, yeah.
Okay. So do
I
you
was out
know
for a
about
week.
this?
I know this whole thing. Yeah.
So you saw the Hall of Fame induction?
Yeah.
Okay. So what are your thoughts before I give my tainted Boston bias?
Oh, I'm not the one to ask about this. I'm
Oh.
just kind of like, okay, that was cool. But,
okay.
Yeah.
Trey, did you see it?
Okay.
No, I was out for a week. I missed it.
Okay. Annual training, I forgot. No, I
Yeah.
just thought that the roast was so edgy, and even us on this podcast were like, I don't really want to talk about what was said. And I had no idea that he was going to the Hall of Fame this year. And then the Hall of Fame thing was the classiest. All the fans were there.
Did you want an edgy Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
No. What I'm saying
okay. I was
is
confused, yeah.
why even do this weird roast when a month from now you're going to do it properly? Money, Netflix, baby, after the grab.
Money.
Yeah, no, I just thought that the Hall of Fame thing, I didn't understand why it was during game 4 of the Celtics. I thought that was weird, but I just thought it was really well done. Gillette Stadium was completely packed. Yeah, it was classy. Everyone was actually talking about him as a quarterback. And I'm not saying the roast shouldn't have happened or should.
It just feels so different to me.
It was completely different, but it's why did because now I'm are we making up for the roast?
Oh,
not that obviously Brady was going to go into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he wasn't
that,
going to make it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
They felt bad for him.
I just thought it was strange. And if you didn't watch both, and I only watched partials of each of them, but the vibe was so different.
Oh,
and I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I think it's
So
smart
thought
doing it during game 4. Everybody can be in town, flying in.
The game 4 was in Dallas.
Good point. Yeah. Game
point.
5. Yeah.
Well, which was
Yeah.
all the Boston accounts were saying Boston is the best sports ever. They packed out 2 stadiums without a game being played, which was true because they had the
that
TD
was
Garden
cool.
watch party, and then you have Gillette Stadium packed
How
out.
far is Gillette from downtown Boston?
45 minutes. It's like
Oh dang! So it's out there.
It's in a different city. Yeah, it's in Foxborough.
Yeah, like if you take the train from downtown, which I've done, it's over an hour.
Jeez.
Yeah, but like driving, it's probably like 35, 40 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought.
Did you push any seafood?
Man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did.
What's your go-to seafood joint?
It's in Quincy Market. It's I can picture it, and now it's slipping. It's something oyster bar, and I like the main lobster roll there. No, Connecticut, hot one.
Yeah, the Connecticut,
the Connecticut lobster roll at that place. There are places where I prefer a main style. I'm not like only this.
So that's
type of lobster roll.
Maine's cold.
Maine's cold.
Break down the difference for
Maine's cold. Maine's cold. Mayonnaise based. Sometimes has lettuce. Sometimes doesn't.
Okay.
Connecticut style is like hot lobster. Like it'd be like if you like cracked it.
Yeah.
Immediately put it on warm bread and covered it in butter. Like immediately.
I like Connecticut way better.
Yeah. I like both.
Just the way you just described it, that the hot one sounds better.
Yeah. So done well, the hot one can be way better. But if you like mayonnaise, the cold one can be good. I will put it to you this way.
Why do you like mayonnaise?
The cold one has more room for error, in my opinion. Because it's like the way you flavored and tried to
too much mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Is that possible? Well,
no, not possible.
Not for Jeff.
So that's my like. You
leave the lobster, give you the mayonnaise,
dude. I'll eat right out of the jar.
Yeah, Duke's baby. If you land it, because we're from the South.
Means you like mayonnaise?
Yeah,
Duke's mayonnaise.
Duke's mayonnaise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just like all Southern people love mayonnaise.
Also true.
Also true.
I mean, the hot one's better to me, but I do think that lobster's sort of a psyop anyway. Like crab to me is so much better than lobster, and I don't know why lobster's the famous luxury one.
Are you raw oyster guy?
Yeah, more recently, but yeah, I can get down with some raw oyster.
I like raw oysters.
But to me, like lobster, like you need to have it all buttery and dressed up and all this stuff because I don't think it's actually that good. Crab, you just get cracking.
So. Well, go ahead, Trey.
I would say little known fact.
You're a Gulf Coast guy. You got blue crab.
I would say little known fact about lobsters, right? So back in the day, it was like a poor people delicacy, right? Not even delicacy. That's like what they ate because there are so many of them, right? So they'd catch them, cook them up,
right?
So then, like whenever they started shipping them out to the West Coast, they marketed it as like a delicacy, and it just like took off.
See, it's a psyop. I'm right.
Wait, you know the West Coast also has lobsters, right?
Well, they shipped them off to where there's no lobster.
They're like Texas claws.
They don't have claws. The West Coast lobsters don't have claws.
It's a crawdad.
People that like the tail generally like West Coast lobsters because the lobster's a little bit bigger, but it's all tail. And then on the East Coast, they'd say the claws are better. I personally, growing up in the Low Country, am a huge blue crab fan, but I will tell you that like I would prefer a blue crab like boil to a lobster bake.
Is that similar to like a crawfish boil?
Yes, meaning there's no bread, no one's preparing anything for you. There's lobsters getting dumped or there's crabs getting dumped.
Okay.
I would prefer the crab.
I'm picking up the crab.
I will also tell you the crab though is a ton more work for a lot less protein. Right. So it's like there's way less meat going in there. But when it comes to like preparing a sandwich or someone like a chef, someone's doing it for me, I generally think the lobster's better with the exception of like a really good crab cake or a soft shell crab. But no, I like both. But yeah, anyway.
What if the Connecticut was made with crab?
Oh, they make that.
That's what I'm saying. Wouldn't that be better?
Yeah, but it can't. It can never be. It's always going to be. Crab's always going to be more like shredded, almost like this is a bad analogy, but Trey will get it. It'd be like pulled pork versus brisket.
No, I get it.
Which I don't like brisket, but lobster is like big chunks of meat.
It's such a liar.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I saw Grant eat a brisket in one sitting. Whole
Yeah.
brisket.
The whole
brisket. Oh,
He ate
a
one,
brisket.
and then he goes, I don't like this, and then he ate the whole thing. I seen it.
I also like legal seafood at the Seaport District.
Oh, I think it's like versus illegal. Is it like black market seafood?
No. I just if you were talking
that's the place. Okay.
Yeah, when you do your Boston spot, it's tough, man, because there's like a lot of great seafood, which is my go-to, and like I feel less like a giant POS if I eat a bunch of seafood than if I have
it's not super heavy.
Yeah, but there's also a lot of great Italian and pizza. But yeah,
Dude,
when you go, I'll tell you. But I like legal seafood. I like this spot in Quincy Market for lobster roll. Yeah, I'm no expert, but I've been quite a few times. I would actually
more
say
than me.
If you're doing the Northeast, go to Boston, eat Italian food and pizzas, and then take a day and go to Maine and eat your lobster rolls.
Okay.
Yeah. Kenny Bunkport, George Bush, not to make it political.
Good tip.
This is a political episode, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Next slide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
someone mentioned George Bush. Quick, get out of here.
Segue from push and chow to the opposite, not push and chow, aka fasting. Grant, did you have something more you wanted to illuminate on that?
Nah, I don't want to talk the whole episode, but in short, I did a 3-day fast last week.
Ooh.
And it's just, so I ate on Monday and didn't eat when Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I ate again Friday. And it's just funny what a mental game it is. It's like going for a run, you know, and at like the first day you're like, this is nothing. And then even at night, you're like, I don't need to eat. What, like, this is dumb.
Don't even need
And
food.
then the next day you wake up and you're like, I might die in an hour. And then like 3 hours later, you're like, food, what is that? And it's just like this thing. But I always think it's like, it's not good for everyone. There are people that shouldn't fast probably because it like messes with their mental psyche. But I think it's just a good reminder of like what you actually need for nutrients versus feeling like you need to eat lunch. And I usually do that length of fast. I say usually the last 3 years, once a quarter, but because I did carnivore first quarter and then D got pregnant, I didn't really do anything. So it's kind of my first one of the year. And I think that long of a break, the last one I did was in December. I was like, man, this sucks.
Are you still doing coffee? You doing coffee?
I do coffee and water. I don't do like bone broths, and I personally don't do electrolytes. I've had one time where I did a 4-day. I call them by like the amount of days that you wake up and go to bed without eating. I had one day where I did 4 days with no eating.
Okay.
And there was like one day in the middle where I felt really bad and I like was salting my water. But I don't know. But yeah, I do coffee. I'm not that hardcore. I do sparkling water, but 0 cal.
Gotcha.
That's like a lifesaver.
What's the longest you've done?
Yeah.
Longest I've done is I woke up, I ate dinner on a Sunday and I ate again on Friday morning. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I didn't eat as long as.
Okay.
Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds hard.
Dang.
Anything more than that, I personally think is crazy. They like, so a lot of people talk about like stem cell regeneration. Like, so there's this whole idea of like, you're giving your liver a break, you're giving like all your organs a break, your stomach a break. And then there's an idea that like the 72-hour mark that like your body starts healing itself in a way.
When the good stuff kicks in.
when it usually kicks in, which I actually agree.
It's probably real.
But when I hear someone doing like a 12-day fast,
Yeah.
I'm like, the amount of like muscle your body's now like breaking down and using for food.
Is it worth it?
And for my purposes, I'm like, this is no longer worth it.
It's weird how long you can go without food though.
Yeah.
Do you think you could go 3 days without coffee?
Yeah.
You think that would be harder?
Be a brutal headache.
Do I have to do both at the same time, fast and not drink coffee?
Ooh.
Or do
I would say either one or the other. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I could not have coffee if I was not having food. It would be, I think, the same amount of pain as in like, oh, I really want this thing, but I can't have it right now.
Yeah.
I think if I did a fast, like literally water
fast,
that would be tough. Because when I fast, I'm like drinking way too much because you don't sleep well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've done fast, right, Trey?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have before.
And you don't sleep well, right?
No, not usually.
Yeah, that's like a thing that everyone says. Like 90% of people are like, "Yep, don't sleep while you fast." Like
Why?
you
I've
wake
also
up
noticed-
constantly.
I can drink, like sometimes if I'm not doing it fast, it takes like more coffee to like it. But if you do it like on a fast, like I could drink half a cup of coffee and
Yes,
you know what I mean? Just be like wired.
Yeah.
right. So like when I
Whoa.
fast, I am coffee in the morning, like couple cups, and then I'm like, I don't even drink still water. I'm just
Oh,
like
really?
lemon flavored LaCroix, grapefruit because it like gives you a sensation.
Yeah.
And then at night when I'm trying to go to sleep, I'm either tea or decaf coffee.
Okay.
And so I think that would make the fast for me personally very hard if I didn't have that.
Gotcha.
I mean, I could do it, but I don't want to.
You're a pretty tough guy.
Are
You're
you
a Marine. You
sluggish?
can do anything.
You sluggish when you fast?
Like day 2, you're sluggish. Day 1, you're not. You actually feel good, like you're hungry, but you feel good. Day 2, you feel sluggish, and then
Day
like
3.
day 3 usually feel like great.
Really?
You're just like, oh,
I've conquered
yeah.
food.
yeah. You're like,
Yeah.
what is food?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you see a lobster roll, and you're like, Jordy doesn't even like
Just
the
say,
lobster.
Oh, so it's crab. If that was
Lobster's
crab,
fake.
I'd be
Yeah.
tempted.
There's
What's your-
crab.
This is poor people food.
What's your flat? Like, what do you do whenever you're breaking your fast, like on the third day?
Connecticut.
Yeah.
Because I know you're not going straight to heavy food. You're just going to carry you up.
Yeah. So
ease back into it.
I usually like wake up and do bone broth,
Okay.
and then I'll do like chicken breast and like white rice later in the day. If I'm doing it right. I've also done it wrong. I've also done a long fast and been like, I'm eating a whole pizza. And let me tell you, that is not
Just
a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad day.
Yeah. Bad day.
That's the noise your stomach makes. I'm just not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. just my stomach.
Just so you know, I'm not going crazy. Yeah.
The old fast.
That's good. All right.
Interesting.
Fast
Good talk. Good fast and fast. Yeah. Oh!
Trey.
Okay.
We're grown men.
We're grown men. Potato.
Oh man. All right. Next slide's going to be something that got me super pumped for the fall.
Go
it's
on.
not college football.
Oh,
Are we doing a game today?
Next
The
slide.
Simpson's going on tour. He's coming out with a new album later this year, and I am fired up about it. Already got tickets for when he's coming to Salt Lake.
Did you have to do the go into the raffle or whatever they like? You have to
the pre-sale.
the pre-sale.
Yeah, so I gave him my email, and I'm going to get probably all kinds of marketing stuff from here to eternity, but worth it.
Because I didn't see. I don't think he's coming to Dallas. At least he hadn't posted one yet. But he was going to Oklahoma City.
Yeah,
And so I was like-
he's playing Austin City Limits. I can't remember where else he's going.
I might just go to-
somewhere else in Texas.
I might just go to Oklahoma City one by myself.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
But
Sturgill Simpson. Grant, are you a fan?
Yeah, I'm a fan. Not as much as
big
Jeff, but we have sent each other songs back and forth. I didn't know about the tour though, but yeah, no, I like Sturgill. Yeah, for sure.
I'm pumped. I'm really pumped.
Do you like
And
his
that was-
newer? Do you like his newer stuff?
I can't speak to that intelligently.
Oh, that was for Jeff. I apologize. Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
I
Yeah.
do. I like I mean his entire catalog I think is really great. The
What would
two
you
standouts.
classify him as?
I think his
What do you mean?
older stuff is
He's definitely like a
definitely country.
Yeah. It's definitely kind of crossed over, been like a little more, especially meta modern sounds in country music was like, there's like a little bit of like kind of like
Psychedelic country.
influence.
Yeah.
Like it's not like a, what do you want to call it?
Not
I
like
can't
Red
think of
Dirt or
like the-
Texas country.
No, but it's definitely like it's kind of has its own unique thing, but like
So
it still
if you-
very much feels like country.
If you had like, before you tell your two standouts, I was talking to Jack White the other day, and I was
Oh, of
asking about
course.
Sturgill Simpson, and he was like, if you took George Strait, Chris Stapleton, and Father John Misty and made him go dig a hole and put this music underground,
It'd be Sturgill Simpson.
That's Sturgill Simpson.
I like that's a great addition of throwing in
Father John Misty.
No, I think that works though.
I think it does.
Like I think there's actually a lot of great like comparisons there, but like on the countryside, I really like that.
Yeah. All right. Good. It's underground country.
Underground.
He does some mean covers, man. He did
dude. Yeah.
Did a Nirvana song that was really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that the same thing as Nirvana?
No, two different bands.
Yeah. He did, In Bloom was the one from A Sailor's Guide to Earth
by Nirvana. Yeah.
And then The Promise was like I can't remember the actual
Cyndi Lauper, right?
Song.
Is that Cyndi Lauper?
No, it's definitely like a dude singing it in the 80s version.
I'm surprised.
But that was like that was like
PJ's not
wedding
chiming
song.
in here.
I'm looking up The Promise.
That was your wedding song.
That was the song Kaylee and I danced to.
Yeah.
When in Rome?
No. Yeah,
maybe. But
yeah,
man, I do really like the Ballad of Dude and Juanita, the like kind of like concept album where it's all like a like a story.
Told a story. Like each
there's like
song.
the one about the dog like dying. Oh, just makes me cry every time.
Yeah.
Dog stories always are the worst.
Dude,
They're the worst.
It's so rough.
I guess it depends on what dogs you have. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Unless Revelie's your dog in the fight.
Oh, that's true.
Dig 'em.
no.
That dog's mean, man.
Yeah.
That dog bit like two people when I was there, and they tried to like cover it up.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, shoot. Oh, don't say anything.
One was Varsity's left horn, and one was his right horn.
That's it. That's it.
That's right.
Got sawed off. They're bitten off. Short.
Oh man, are we going over a team today?
No, we're gonna do two next week. I didn't have time to
Little double
make
up.
my notes this week.
All right.
Double up.
Do you have the teams picked out?
No, I usually go with
like
what
it.
you tell me to do, Hefe.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, maybe we should. Are we at the end of the slide deck?
I think so. Well, I was going to have my one. I don't know if it's hot take, but from listening to last week's episode.
Oh yeah, go on.
George,
Yeah,
a lot of great. Loved the George Strait, Chris Stapleton concert recap.
Yeah.
But for me, George Strait not writing his songs is a big knock against him, I think. And then there was the comparison of like, oh, well, Grant doesn't make all the 45s, but it's like, oh, but Rogue does, or like these other companies do, because a lot of other country artists write their own songs.
I do make the 45s. I make the 45s. That was my beef with the whole thing.
You fly out to Wisconsin every morning.
Yeah.
Fly back every night.
Yeah.
But, I mean, George Strait's still great. Like, so some great.
Well, he's
songs.
also a starting strength coach, but he didn't invent starting strength. Not to rip on Grant Day, but it's not a rip to me.
Send
What
him
the hell,
on.
Grant? What are you even doing with your life?
Not a JTAC, but you know.
I just think that analogy doesn't, not the starting strength one, but like to give Rogue credit, like Bill Henninger made Rogue.
Yeah.
But he's not. Does he make his own plates in his garage?
No one is handcrafting their plates.
Maybe it was a bad analogy. Maybe designing is what counts. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, no, but I'm actually trying to empathize with Jeff here because I do think that like writing your own songs matters. I just don't know that we picked a good thing to put it up against because I would say I made my own plates, right? What I would say is if there was plates from China that like Rogue sells all the time that they go and grab and they put their brand on them, like that's different.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like mine have my fingerprints on them. Like, oh,
Definitely.
no, that I changed that, you know. And
You should actually start doing that.
yeah, putting my fingerprints in the back of plates.
Well, actors do this all the time. Like hardly any actors write the script. Does that take away from
That's why I don't like any actors.
Yeah,
I think again that's just like a tough comparison. I think
It's the same. It's performing the written material.
No, I think you make a good point.
But it's like in an industry where like a lot of people do write their own songs and perform them.
It's compared to the other ones.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think what Jeff is saying, which I think I was trying to articulate poorly last week, is that there's just something about a singer-songwriter who can do both. Yeah. I'm like, dude, that dude is super talented.
Okay,
I think
so
George Strait's not talented.
I think that.
Yeah.
Here's where I think the conversation is lost.
Go.
We're comparing to George Strait, who is the king, and he's so good at his singing and his presentation that it probably doesn't matter who wrote it. And if you took a lower level country music singer that was, I mean, it's hard to say equal to Chris Stapleton because Stapleton's so high. But if you like, you know, if you took two people of equal popularity and said an equal time in the game and said this guy writes his music and this guy doesn't. I like
who's the guy who's the country guy who's on The Voice?
Blake Shelton.
Blake Shelton.
Does he write his music?
No.
Old Red, he's the damnedest dog.
I don't know. I'm taking a stab in the dark saying he doesn't.
Unlikely, I would say.
Yeah.
So you compare him. See, we can't even have this conversation because we're so uneducated on the topic.
I think there's a lot of artists out there who are just like manufactured by like a record company,
the industry, the government.
The government.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
think George Strait's not. Like, I think he kind of made his own way and had that. But there's a lot of people out there who, to me, it's kind of whenever I see a singer-songwriter who's really good, I'm like, okay, that guy's super talented. Versus someone who's like
Midland.
They seem very manufactured. Yeah,
they write their own stuff.
But they seem
But George Strait doesn't seem manufactured.
No, but I'm saying like there's other people who do seem manufactured.
Oh yeah.
And especially in country, like there seems to be a lot.
Even if they write their own stuff, a lot of that is not one person. I mean, you've got probably three songwriters and a producer chiming in. So it's rare to actually get like a solo person writing 100% of every song.
I also love how like 3 out of the 4 of us are having this argument and like can't play a lick of music.
Yeah.
Well, I have written so many songs that George Strait performed.
That's right.
By the way, before I segue, the song that I referenced in that podcast by George Strait about his tequila is Cody Go. It's like, come on, drink some Cody Go. Made down in Mexico. And then he spells it out. Yeah, it's great. And that's his tequila line. But you know what's not manufactured and who only one person deals with and takes care of all your problems, no matter what they are or how complex they are? Our good friend BW.
Oh, great guy.
Yeah,
what a good
guy.
dude.
Yeah.
Good dude.
You walk in, he's there, and he's ready to answer any questions you may have. And it's just interesting because you might say, one guy to handle all my problems. But when you have an expert, you don't need a cadre. You know what a cadre does? They charge you too much money. One guy can solve a hoist of problems and charge you less money.
Good use of the word cadre.
BWTaxLLC.com. Thank you.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Grant's lexicon is very verbose, dude. That's
verbose.
I like that $40 sentence right there.
Yo.
Boom, boom. Okay, I think last thing. College World Series.
Oh yeah.
Gig 'em, baby.
Are you guys still in? I saw Florida State beat Chapel Hill today in the elimination game.
We beat Florida because Florida's playing Kentucky, and that got postponed till tomorrow.
Okay,
but A&M beat Florida, and then they beat Kentucky in the winners bracket.
So that's the other side.
It's like all Southern teams. It's so great.
Yeah,
dude, that's a team from Texas.
Yeah, a team from Texas. Yeah, those.
Heck yeah, you got that right, Jeff.
Yeah. I was gonna say in that one Mexican team, but yeah, we're good. Yeah. So you got Florida State left, Florida, Kentucky, A&M. There's got to be someone. Tennessee. Yeah, NC State and Florida State knocked down on that side. Or I mean,
Tennessee
and North Carolina.
The Tennessee Florida State game.
That game was
good.
Wild.
That was wild. They came back. Tennessee, the Vols.
What a finish. Got hit for the cycle. Oh,
it's got to be a good feeling.
A&M seems being held together by duct tape right now. So everybody's hurt.
Do they have any 1,000-mile-an-hour tape?
Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Eventually,
Trey so far removed he doesn't remember what 1,000-mile-an-hour tape is. Is that like really 550 cord?
Really crappy.
550 cord. I know if I think what it is.
Yeah, you know what that is.
You guys ever heard of gaff tape?
Uh-huh.
That's my favorite tape.
Really strong.
Gaff
Have you ever
tape.
It's actually really great.
It's
Potential-
great. Like it's
Potential
like
sponsor.
Gaff tape.
Mr. Gaff.
I was going to say Flex Seal.
Flex Seal.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's a good one. Get
That would
Flex
be
Seal
a
on.
great sponsor.
Get Flex Seal on this train.
I was gonna say Seafoam.
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay.
Yeah. Gaff tape's great. It's kind of like duct tape. You see it a lot in like stages, production, or stuff like that.
Okay.
And it's basically like duct tape, but like the thing, gaffer's tape is like the whole thing, and the gaffer's job is to tape down all the cords.
Oh yeah, we use this at the Arnold.
Yeah. And it doesn't use it doesn't leave residue like a duct tape.
It's like really strong still. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
English
great. I
Premier
love gaff
League
tape.
coaches use it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah.
gaffers.
Huge
Big old
gaffers.
Big gaffers, guys.
Gaffers. Yeah.
Well, with that, I could do it. I don't feel qualified. PJ, great producer of the episode, but like it's definitely not his job. And like Jeff, welcome back. But I mean, I don't know how. Here we are. We're like Blake Shelton trying to write a song for Chris Stapleton. There's really only one person that can do it.
We need the songwriter to sing this one.
It's the songwriter. Trey, bring us down. Bring us down for landing. And also, before you do, don't forget that we let you off the hook this week on an amateur lifting update. But that means next week we're coming guns blazing. Jeff, slide one. Slide one.
Do that. I did a lot on that fishing trip. Yeah.
All right. But anyway, bring us in for a landing. 025.
025. Yeah. You answered my question.
Obviously.
Guys, can we take a second? Let's take a second. I just want to thank everybody for listening to episode 025 of the we're a little bit rusty. We're getting there. I'd like to thank our sponsor, VW Tax, as always, keeping the lights on, keeping everybody wealthy, keeping money.
Contract ran out.
He just resubscribed.
For those of y'all who missed that joke that Grant just made, because you're not watching on YouTube, please go over to the YouTube channel, like, subscribe, leave a comment so I can comment back. Go to www.theokpodcast.com. Find all of our social media links there. I would say everybody's handles, but I need to start writing these down.
If you don't know them by now, I mean,
I know you got 2 underscored.
I got 2 underscores.
That's nice.
The more the better.
Yeah. All right, you go to 3 Gottlich on X.
The Strength Co, because we're powered. The real one that you want to look up, find,
I was
send
Are we still
DM
powered?
and friend request is Biggie JP.
Oh, that's it. He's always on there.
Yeah.
He'll try to get to your DM. He'll try to get to it.
Maybe.
If he can.
Maybe.
Yeah, there's no time.
Yeah, we're still powered by the Strength Co.
Oh, thank goodness. I was worried about that. But
Sure.
other than that, guys, hey, thanks again for listening. If you've made it this far.
As LeVar Burton would say in Reading Rainbow, we'll see you next time.
Reading Rainbow.
There you go. You got the joke. Yeah.